Hi guys, and happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Hot Seat with Priscilla. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and as always, I am so grateful that you are here watching every single Wednesday on socialmediashows.com for this amazing show called The Hot Seat with Priscilla. The seat where everybody who is entitled to sit here can sit here and tell you about their journey and what they are doing for the city of Las Vegas. Now, today is going to be an amazing show. First and foremost, I wanted to retract and say I hope you guys watched the latest show that I am also a host in, which is Striptease, that just had its second episode premiere right before the show. So we are doing that once a month. So I would like to also extend my hand to those who are willing to sponsor, to also think of watching that show. And kind of, if you want to sponsor, please reach out to our production team, admin@socialmediashows.com, because to make that show happen, we obviously love to have sponsors like yourself reach out and help us sponsor that show. Now back to the hot seat. We have now dedicated this one show to one person only. Now he has the longest running hypnosis show here in the city of Las Vegas, and it's actually absolutely amazing. When I bring his name up to other people who are into hypnotherapy, they know who this man is. And so if you have actually seen his show, which is now going on at the Four Queens in downtown Las Vegas, then you know exactly who I am talking about, and I cannot wait for him to come on and have his interview, and at the end he might have a little surprise for all of you who may or may not have seen his show, so make sure to stay tuned and watch to the end. When we come back from the break, we are going to have Kevin Lepine sit here and literally tell you all about him, get the deets, get to know who he is and why he does what he does. So make sure to stay tuned and come back after the break to meet the amazing, amazing, amazing star, creator, hypnotherapist, whatever you want to call him, of Hypnosis Unleashed. And make sure to stay tuned after the break.
This show is brought to you by Michelle Kubiak with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, call Michelle at 702-683-6576. Her license number is S.48606. This show is also brought to you by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, located on Silverado Ranch, here in Henderson, Nevada. Restore, relax, and refresh.
Social Media Shows is a production company based here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We offer these services. We've been streaming shows live in real time for over 4 years on major social media platforms and also on our website socialmediashows.com. And we are now on Roku TV. We welcome you to have your own show on our TV network. Call us 651-955-8743 or email us at admin@socialmediashows.com.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat with Priscilla. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and as always, I am so grateful that you are here watching every single week, sharing, subscribing, and letting everybody know about this amazing show. I love meeting all of my guests every single week. They have such amazing and inspiring stories, and I love and love promoting them so all of Las Vegas can know exactly who they are. Now, our only guest for today, we close out the whole show for this one and only guest, is probably the longest running hypnosis show in the city. And that is the amazing, and I'm going to welcome him in right now, Kevin Lepine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please take a seat.
My pleasure.
Please do not get burned from the hot seat.
Oh, no worries.
Oh my gosh. So this is our first time meeting, and I have yet to go to your show, but I know you're the longest running. You have a residency at the Four Queens right now, and so many people know you. But you're originally from Detroit.
Yep.
Am I right?
So I grew up in Detroit,
And then that's actually where I started performing. I started off when I was 16 doing costume characters at kids' parties. So I was the purple dinosaur at your little brother's birthday.
Oh.
But doing that, you know, got me into entertaining. From there, I started working with some clowns. That got me into magic. Magic got me into sideshow. And then by the time I was 21, I started working with some hypnotists. They got me enrolled in a course for social workers to learn how to do hypnotherapy, because at the time it was really the only way to learn. And it just kind of took off. I knew I was going to use my powers for evil instead of good. My plan was never to really use it in therapy, but I also knew that if I learned it that way, I would learn to do it correctly.
Yes.
And I could make sure that everybody would be safe and feel good. And then I got really fortunate, and when I was 25, I had a 6-month contract to move down to New Orleans, and 6 months turned into 5 years. At New Orleans, I got to work with amazing performers who really, really helped me grow.
Yeah, that's great. So what really drew you, though, to know hypnotherapy? Like, what about it? Because I know it's a lot about our focus and concentration and kind of getting yourself in a very relaxed state. So what is it about that made you stick to that one thing?
Ben Kenobi.
Okay.
Honestly, was watching Star Wars. That first time Ben goes, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." Everybody wants hypnosis to work that way. It doesn't, but you want it to. So, you see that, and then you see hypnosis in the movies, you see hypnosis in TV, and it looks like this one thing that is just so immediate and 100%, you're like, oh, that's great. But then the more I learned about it, the more I learned about the reality of it, the more interesting the reality of it became. Because when you look at the fact that people have lost weight, people have gotten over bad habits, people have been able to change their lives, and then when I look at what I use it for, the fact that I can take somebody, and Jerry Seinfeld's got one of my favorite lines. He once said that the number one fear in the world is public speaking, and number 2 is death. So if you're at a funeral, you are more comfortable in the coffin than giving the eulogy. And the fact that I can take strangers who've never been on stage before, bring them up on stage, hypnotize them in front of their friends, their family, and a whole crowd of people, and turn them into superstars. Not make fun of them, but really, they're going to do fun, funny, and adult things in my show. But to really make them look like stars and make them realize you can step out of that comfort zone. And if you can do that, you can do anything.
Right. So do you believe that even one session of that can kind of alter their way of thinking, even if they never do another session again? Do you kind of feel like that boosts their confidence? Be like, oh my God, if I can do that then like it's in me.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of people who volunteered at my show have, emailed me, messaged me, and gone, because I did that, I felt really comfortable doing something else. I felt comfortable reaching out. I felt comfortable growing to a different level in different ways. Now, when you go to see a hypnotherapist, which is way different than the comedy show, when you go to see a therapist, usually, depending on what you do, there'll be a few different sessions, because when you're going for goal achievement, well, those goals change a lot.
Yeah, and I know that whenever I hear about it, and unfortunately it's a lot with true crime, that people go through those sessions because they want to recall something that they might have forced themselves subconsciously because they really just, it's so traumatic, or something where they just don't want to remember it. So as humans, we black it out.
Yes.
So a lot of people use that to kind of bring that out to light. Is there truth to that, do you believe?
There's a lot of truth to that, and then there's a lot of Hollywood to that. So I don't ever do anything in my show where I'm talking about your memories. I also don't do anything where I have people spill secrets, which is funny to me because nobody cares what I'm going to make them do. Everybody just goes, "You're not going to make me spill secrets, are you?" To which my first thought is, well, what kind of secrets do you have?
It's true. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, but then I think about the secrets I have, and I'm like, no, don't worry. I'm not going to spill mine. You're not going to spill yours.
You're right.
But also, that's why I don't bring up your memories, because I don't know where your memories are from. And so I want to protect you from something that you may not know is there. And the difference between the reality and the Hollywood is memories are really malleable. So, for example, in forensics hypnosis, you never ever want witnesses all to be in a room together. If 4 witnesses saw a green car hit somebody, and then 6 months later, those 4 witnesses talk, and one of them starts talking about the blue car, they will all remember the blue car.
Yeah.
You've got to be, when you start talking about memories and repression, there are some hypnotists who are amazing at that. And I have people that I recommend and refer to all the time, just because I don't do that 40 hours a week. So I don't think I'm the best person qualified to take you on that memory journey.
Yeah. Yeah, you consider yourself more of a performer
Yes.
in that way. So you said you started in Detroit, you went to New Orleans, and
Yep.
then how long? So after the 5 years, when did you come to Vegas? When did Vegas become a thing?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, in a weird way, because I tend to believe not that everything happens for a reason. I think we use that as an excuse a lot.
Mhm.
I think everything that happens creates opportunity. Katrina is what ended up kicking me out of New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
The second level of my condo complex flooded. I had a first level condo. That was just gone. So I moved back up to Detroit for 5 years. But when I was in Detroit, I managed to line up a corporate contract that literally took me around the world doing shows,
Okay.
doing high level corporate events where I got to really see professionalism on a different level. And it really taught me a lot about what it means to be, not just to have the great show, but to be a professional in every aspect of it.
Mhm.
And then 5 years after that, in 2010, I had the opportunity to come to Vegas for 6 months because I had lined up a lot of corporate shows, and it was easier for me to just stay in Vegas. And once again, a 6-month contract turns into 13 years because I got very fortunate.
Mhm.
When I came here, I met the people who ran Hypnosis Unleashed. They invited me to the show. They let me come up on stage and do a 5-minute routine one night. And then they invited me back if I wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
And I'm hanging out with them. And I ended up becoming an intern, almost.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I had at that point in my life a good 15 years of experience. I didn't know anything about Vegas. And for the next almost 6-7 months with them, I became an intern. I was seating people. I was redoing marketing. I was working as an assistant. I was helping set up the theater. I was helping tear down the theater. I was doing everything. And then they finally went, well, what do you want for all of this? I said, honestly, I want what you're not using. I want your dark night. So they went from 6 nights to 7 nights a week. I had 1 night a week. I had my dream. I was now a Vegas headliner. That was all I ever wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then from there, one of the guys retired. We were at the Harmon Theater. Michael Johns, who had originated Hypnosis Unleashed when the Harmon Theater closed, he had succeeded in Vegas with everything he had wanted to do, and he didn't want to move forward. And he went, you know what? I'm retiring from Vegas. If you want the name, you can use it with my blessing. And that's when I took it over, and now we've been at the Four Queens downtown. I've been doing it for 13 years out here and loving it. And the most important thing I can say about that entire story is I had to ask Michael this one question over and over. Why me?
Mhm.
Every hypnotist that had come through Vegas had walked through that door at some point or another. How did I get the opportunity? And Michael told me I was the first one who wanted to learn, not tell them what I knew.
Right.
And it made a difference.
And that's a big thing, is that, like, you have to always know that you need to be learning. In this industry, no matter what you're performing in this type of public figure art,
Yep.
you have to learn, know what you're tackling before you actually tackle it, and then you can show it. I mean, obviously there are times you want to prove yourself because people disrespect you, things like that. But I think the biggest thing that helped you is because you had to travel and learn how to acclimate to different places.
Yes, you have to learn different crowds. You have to be
cities,
very, very bulletproof when you're in Vegas.
Exactly.
Because you're going to be performing for everybody.
From everywhere.
Yep, every walk of life. Giant CEOs.
Yes.
And everyone else. I mean, you're going to have everybody come in. Mm-hmm. That's the great thing about Vegas. We want everybody. I don't care what tax bracket you're in. I don't care what you do for a living. There is something in Vegas designed for you to come out, for you to have fun, for you to enjoy. And what I've always loved about Vegas is you'll always get like 20% more than you expected.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, I love that feeling. I love that we really know customer care and customer service. Yeah. But you're also really right. Not only just about having to get bulletproof at that, but I do comedy.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to bring up.
And I have to make people laugh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because every part of my show has to be funny, engaging, and entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we have a problem in comedy Because people forget that comedy changes every 5 years.
Oh yeah.
And it does. Things that were funny 5 years ago are not funny today. And you have to learn, you have to evolve.
So you have to be relevant to people now.
Yes.
To make them be like, like the automatic
Yep.
laugh for all generations.
Yes.
Right.
And you have to understand that something that you did 5 years ago, you hear this complaint a lot. And I've heard it from a lot of comics of, oh, well, I don't like working colleges because they don't know what humor is anymore. PC has killed humor. No. PC has changed humor. And when I hear a 50-year-old performer saying that college kids don't know what funny is, well, if you're a 50-year-old performer, can you relate to an 18-year-old? Can the 18-year-old relate to you? Sometimes it's not, that question of they don't know what funny is. You just can't relate to them.
Yeah.
And there's a big truth that, and there are different comics who are great at different things. My belief with my show is that my show has to be all-encompassing. I want us all to come together.
Yeah.
When you come to the show, I don't want you to feel singled out for anything. And when you volunteer, I want to make you a superstar. My whole goal is bringing everyone together.
Yeah, because I feel like Vegas is going to have a bunch of people here that are like really unhinged. They're here to have fun. They're not here to be in Vegas to be who they are not in Vegas. Vegas is a place where people come and they're wildest for some reason, right? They think everything is up for grabs when they're in Vegas. So you have to, they're coming in very not poised. So you have to kind of handle that crowd. But then also on top of that, like you rely a lot on participation.
Yes.
Right? So you have to also kind of relate to people and to get them to have the confidence to come up and then also control that crowd that's on the stage because to keep your show going because there's a lot of people that like to be outlandish and then the crowd out there, right? So tell us what it's like to have participation and why that's very important for you.
So the participation, and you're right, I have to do multiple shows in one show. My audience, the show is of course for my audience. I want you to laugh. I want you to have fun. I want you to have a great time. And you're going to have that great time. But I also have my volunteers on stage. I have to make sure that, we'll get 12 people to volunteer, and I'll keep 6 or 7 that are right where we need them to be. But it's also making sure that they're always safe, that they're always taken care of. One of my big rules is if you volunteer for my show, everybody in the audience doesn't know who you are. But they all know one important fact about you. Oh my God, that could have been me. So is the way that I treat you is the way that I would have treated everybody else. And I want to make sure that you're having fun, that you're feeling good through each and every step of the way. Because the more fun you have, the more everybody in the audience is going, this is fun, I'm enjoying this, I'm loving it. And you know what? Next time, I know what I need to bring here, or next time I should volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Now, let's talk about the show. Where can we volunteer? When can we see it? How many times a week can we see it? Where can we get tickets? Please tell the audience the details.
So we do the show at the Four Queens down on Fremont Street. It's an amazing place. I am so fortunate to be there. We are the 9 o'clock show. We do it Tuesday through Saturday. I used to do 6 nights a week. After getting married, my wife, Emily, who's in the show with me, she also convinced me it was time to go down to 5 nights a week because we need to take some time and enjoy ourselves as well.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of that. But the show is the Four Queens, Hypnosis Unleashed, 9 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday. There's, of course, more information at both hypnosisunleashed.com as well as at thefourqueens.com.
Yeah. So everyone, please make sure to mark down that information. Obviously, he's the longest running, so he's out here, he's a star. But everyone that's coming in town, or if you are in town and you have never heard of this, is obviously something that would be new. It's off the strip, it's downtown, it's supporting locals, it's
and
great.
Downtown is a really fun place to be. And for a
Fun
lot
and
of people,
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, a lot going on all the
They don't
time.
understand what downtown is. And what I love about downtown is, the strip is the strip. It's fantastic. You can't go wrong. Downtown, you have like 6 different casinos within 3 blocks of each other that all have their own different feel, their own different flavor. You have so many new restaurants. So many things have grown and expanded there. The whole Fremont East experience is there.
Yeah.
The light show is, They have changed that so much in the last few
yeah.
years. They have so upgraded it.
Live music.
Yes,
It's
the live music on the stages.
Yeah, the cover bands. Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's so much more budget-friendly down there.
Yeah.
And there are some great hidden secrets as far as restaurants downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the greatest food.
Yeah, and it's just exciting. There's a lot going on, and for locals, it's a lot. But at the same time, you're going to have a fun time. You're going to have a laugh or two, and so it's not that difficult. It's a great time, and it's very local friendly. So if you're here supporting locals, it's a great time, and obviously Kevin is one of those factors. And leading off of that, because Kevin is Kevin and he's amazing, he actually is going to surprise you guys with a little taste of what you guys could see down at the Four Queens. Now, obviously, I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and this is the Hot Seat with Priscilla, but I am actually going to hand this over to Kevin for the rest of the show. So I want to thank you so much for actually coming on to the show and sitting here and interviewing with me, because you clearly are a great star, and you are very well known in this town. A lot of people from out of town that are here for conventions obviously have brought him up to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, he's about to be on my show. What the heck is going on? Like, who is this guy? Anyway, but it is an honor and a pleasure, and I thank you so much. I cannot wait.
That's my privilege. Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Yes,
Thank you.
and then we have a couple volunteers. Talk about the participation. We're gonna have those volunteers come up on after the break. They're gonna be here, and you can see what Kevin really does. Kevin being Kevin, his performer self, his comedic self, everything that you'll see. Maybe, but this is just kind of like, because I'm Priscilla.
It's going to be just a little bit of a fun way to show what hypnosis is and a little bit about how hypnosis works.
And because I'm Priscilla and this is the hot seat, he's going to take that hot seat and he's going to be like, this is me, and so we're going to give that privilege over to you, and he's going to show that a little bit after the break. So I'm going to close this part of the show off. As always, I'm your host, Priscilla Moy, and this is Kevin Lepine, and we are here every single Wednesday at socialmediashows.com. At the hot seat. So please stay tuned after the break to watch Kevin do his thing and take over this amazing show. So I will see you again next week, and this is the hot seat.
This show is brought to you by our very own Meryl and Merrick comedy show. This fun, comical TV sitcom duo with Social Media Shows Network loves to make you laugh. Mahel Empire Productions. It's a filmmaker based in Las Vegas, Nevada. Founded by Michael and Sonny Mahal, and are dedicated to making feature films. Hello everyone, this is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause, because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Kevin Lepine with Hypnosis Unleashed here on the hot seat. We've got Steve and Jocelyn here. They were in the studio, and they were interested in hypnosis. So working with them, I'm going to just explain a little bit about what hypnosis is, because we've all done it, and there's so many misconceptions. Like, if I had to ask you, what is something that you've heard about hypnosis?
They make you do strange things.
They make you do strange things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like cluck like a chicken.
Cluck like a chicken, yeah. All right. So first of all, I can promise you that when I do my show, I'm way more creative and probably a little bit more evil than that. And while you will do strange things, I think we've all heard this sentence about hypnosis. Under hypnosis, you wouldn't do anything that you wouldn't normally do. Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing. We just met. We haven't had a lot of time to talk. Can you name 5 things I wouldn't do?
No.
Yeah. And that's what I have to work with when I do my show, is I have to understand that I've got different people every night in different situations. So I have to keep everybody safe to make sure that everybody's going to have a good time. And I wanted to explain and just show how we've all entered into different versions of hypnosis. Like you were telling me that you meditate,
Mm-hmm.
and how often do you do that?
About intentionally a few times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you? Have you ever done anything like with breathing or meditation or none of that? It's okay to say none of it.
Not really any of it, no.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, with meditation, one of the ways I like to describe hypnosis is when you meditate, you're kind of just zoning out to everything. You're just kind of letting go. With hypnosis, it's that same feeling of relaxation, but instead of zoning out, you're just narrowly focused on one concept or one idea. A lot of hypnosis is based on the combination of relaxation and focus. When you bring those two together, you can achieve a lot of different things, and we've all done it. Show of hands, you've laid in bed, you jump up because it feels like you're falling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, you weren't really falling,
Yeah.
but your mind thought you were, your body reacted like you were, you jumped up. And that can be a scary version of it.
Yeah.
Another real common example, the most common example, you're driving in your car, it's late at night, and you don't necessarily remember, did I stop at that stop sign by my house? 1 or 2 miles, kind of disparate. You were focused, but you don't really remember those. So that's called highway hypnosis. And it's funny because that's actually in user manuals of cars now, where they'll give you that warning of if you're driving late at night to not just focus on the little white lines going by.
Yeah, right.
Or all of a sudden.
All right, okay, yeah.
Yep. So I wanted to show a couple of different things that allow for focus. One word that you hear in hypnosis a lot is sleep. The reason hypnotists use the word sleep is it's the easiest way to explain what you're going to do on stage. Funny enough, when hypnosis started, it kind of looked like one of the religious revivals where people were on the floor shaking and trembling, until a hypnotist hypnotized somebody who had no idea they were supposed to do that and just went. And, this was 1700s ago. Oh, wait a minute. And he realized that he had been suggesting to people that that would happen. So whereas we use the word sleep, it's not always the best word. We're gonna start off with something that people have all seen before, and it's a pendulum. And we see this in hypnosis. Ooh, you're getting sleepy. Nobody gets sleepy while this is happening. All you get is dizzy. But it came from something really cool. It came as a way to focus. Just hold that in your thumb and finger. In the beginning, don't consciously move it. Just look at it. And then what you're going to do in a second is it's going to look like you're moving something with your mind. And you're not. All that's going to happen is your mind's going to take a suggestion. You're not going to feel it, but it's going to move your fingers. And it's going to make it look like your mind is moving that pendulum from left to right. Just think the words left and right. Further and faster. Further and faster. The more you stare at that pendulum, the more you think the words left and right, the further and faster it starts to swing. Now imagine it was changing directions. Imagine that there was actually a hand reaching out, and instead of left and right, imagine it was going back and forth from your nose to the wall. Think back and forth, towards and away, towards and away. And now imagine there was a giant circle under you. Just think the words around and around and around. 1, 2, 3. Think around and around like a giant circle, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, just like that. Now here's the one that really weirds people out. On the count of 3, it's going to go the opposite way. Imagine it was going backwards. Just think backwards in 3, 2, 1, as it begins to spin in the opposite direction, just like that. And then just imagine it's coming to a stop, like a hand grabbing it. Just think stop in 3, 2, 1, just like that. That's one of my favorite ones to play with. And the reason this one's so cool, what I love about that, is not only can you use it for focus, but people have used this to tap into their subconscious to come up with different things. We actually saw a game at the show where it just has a little piece of paper with yes and no. And as you think about a question, the pendulum will move in the way that your mind is actually thinking about how it wants to go. That's one of my favorite ways of showing how the mind works. My other favorite way is, since we're using my toys right there, now you're just going to use yourselves. Hold your hands up just like this. Hold your hands together. Bring your hands up to about face level. Hold up your index fingers. Hold them about a half an inch apart. Just look at the tips of your fingers. Take a deep breath into the nose and hold it. On the count of 3, you're going to let that breath out. You're going to feel your fingers move together like 2 magnets. 1, 2, 3. Feeling your fingers move closer and closer like a rope, a string, pulling them closer and tighter. I just want you to stare at your fingertips. As you're staring at your fingers, don't move your head. Just let your eyes follow it. And you're going to notice your eyelids starting to flutter just like that. And they're going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Take a deep breath in. On the count of 3, those eyes are just going to want to close in 3, 2, 1. Let your eyes close. Let your head roll forward. Let your arms relax. Just sleep right there. And then same thing, Steve. Take that deep breath in. And most of those eyelids are getting heavier and heavier. And as your fingers come closer and closer, eyelids getting heavier and heavier in 3, 2, 1. Just sleep and relax right there. I've got you. Perfect. Let your body relax. Arms relax. Just like that. And that's what hypnosis is. It's that state of relaxation right there. Now, with hypnosis, one of the simplest things to do is to talk about positive, happy things. So as I'm touching your shoulder, I want you to think of a time when you felt good, when you felt comfortable. And I want you to think of a time when you felt really, really happy. On the count of 3, you're going to just be filled with laughter, feeling happy, feeling good, feeling giggly, remembering the funniest movie, the funniest moment of all time in 3, 2, 1. And as you think about that movie, it gets funnier and funnier and funnier, and your shoulder starts to get more and more ticklish. The more you relax and the better you feel, just like that, as that movie gets 10 times funnier, 20 times funnier, 30 times funnier. Just take a deep breath in, let your body relax, let your arms relax, and on the count, and I just want you to imagine there's a helium balloon tied to your wrist. Take a deep breath in, that helium balloon's going to make that arm float higher and higher. Deep breath in. The higher they go, the better you feel, the more relaxed you become. Now, in this moment, in this state of relaxation, people who are hypnotized for 40 minutes, it's like getting 4 hours of sleep. So I'm going to count to 3. And when I get to 3, the 2 of you will be wide awake. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel alert. You're going to feel better than you felt in months. You're going to have 10 times more energy than you've had the last 2 days put together. You're going to feel 10 times better about yourself than you felt in the last 2 months. Feeling great, alert, and awake and ready for a good day. As I count from 5 to 1, your arms coming to your lap. Once we get to 1, your arms will be all the way down. You'll be all the way awake in 5, 4. Moving your fingers, rolling your shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Eyes open just like that. We can all enter into different versions of hypnosis. And when you volunteer for the show, you're going to be a star and you're going to have a lot of fun. Love to see you. For the hot seat, Priscilla, thank you so much for giving me this time. Jocelyn, thank you so much. Steve, thank you so much for being up here. I really appreciate the both of you. My name is Kevin Lepine, and we'll see you at Hypnosis Unleashed.